Hey everyone, I'm Allyson Berger with Be Terrific, and we are live at NAB 2017. And I'm ready to have a lot of fun with the two guys that are sitting down next to me right now. And you better make sure that your volume's up because you're going to have a good time with us. I'm here with David Sammons and Eric Fletcher. We were talking too much before that you told me your website too many times that it's just like, whoop.
On my sleeve. How can you miss it?
I know, right? How are you guys doing?
Great.
Yeah.
We're having a great time.
Good.
My feet are tired, but I'm great.
Yeah. If only NAB had a massage booth set up for us.
If it had scooters.
Oh, they do for VIPs. They didn't. You don't.
You didn't get me on that list.
You didn't get that. You didn't
I'm
get
so
on the
sorry.
list.
I guess that's like a first timer's no go.
Yeah, we get one in the morning, one in the evening.
I got to get on that list for next year.
I just wish they had hover rounds for everybody, so you just drive and then bumper cars
and hit everyone.
Yeah.
Like 10 points.
Oh heck yes! It'd be great if it had a scoreboard on it.
Yeah. And like a drone that would come off of it.
Yeah.
Just fly around.
Hit a pedestrian, get 50 points. Hit another hover round, get 10 because that's too easy.
Yeah, I like that. I think we just came up with a new product.
A convention product.
So I know you have been on Be Terrific a bunch of times. Yeah. This is my first time dealing with you.
Yeah,
what am I in for?
I actually had a morning show last year. Apparently not this year. No.
You did a whole show last year?
I did a show every morning last year. Talking
what was it
about
called? Was it Talking with Eric?
It was a Fletcher Artist Report where we basically talked about everything on the floor.
He does know just about everything. He knows exactly where everything is, too.
I believe weird. That. I saw on your website that you have a philosophy, and I'm really intrigued to know what your philosophy is. Let's talk about the philosophy with your career. Do you know that this says this about you on your website?
I don't remember, and I should. I wrote it. What does it say?
It says that your website, you can learn about your philosophy on your website.
Oh.
I did my research on you, Eric.
Yeah, you did. Well, one of my philosophies is never let your gear limit you.
Okay.
Oh, that's smart.
So,
yeah, that's true.
I really get annoyed with gear that tries to limit me because I don't want to say no to a director or a DP on set. I want to tell the story. I want to tell it visually, and I want them to get what they want along with what I'd like to add.
Right.
And
do you have a philosophy?
Less is more. I try to keep the technical side of what I do as streamlined as possible. I'm a conventional operator. That means that I do just about everything except
Steadicam.
Yeah.
Which means we could actually work together.
Yes.
and I've learned that doesn't happen very often with camera operators and amongst the guys that are in your society.
Steadicam operators rarely ever work with each other.
Yeah.
I was on a show where we actually did carry two A-camera Steadicam operators, and that was True Blood.
Yeah,
but that was because that show split off into two units pretty much full time. So that way there was a continuity.
Right.
And I work on shows too where they'll just have two conventional operators, and then we'll bring in a Steadicam operator if we have a special shot that they want to do. You can get the best guys that way, usually, unless they're booked on a big feature or something. But nowadays in television, you have to be able to do everything all the time. So having one Steadicam and one conventional operator is pretty much the standard nowadays.
Well, I think that's what's nice about the Society of Camera Operators is that, you can share information, you can get together, because it is rare that I'm obviously an honorary member already. I was given that title. That's how I know these things.
It's great. You get the opportunity with the SOC, we get the opportunity to really talk about not just the craft, but what we're doing, but we can also kind of talk about what's going on our shows, and it's somebody who actually understands what we're going through, what we're dealing with. Or they've worked with some of the people we're talking about, and we're gleaning information like, oh, what was this director like? Did you have a good experience? What does he ask for? It's like getting the ins and outs of that is very important, and I think that's what the networking that happens with the SOC is really great.
Yeah, well, a lot of times when we're on a show and a new director comes in who hasn't done an episode of that show, we'll figure out our friends, and get a scouting report on that director, and it's call up a buddy on another show that they've done, and hey, what's this guy like? Is this guy good?
Right.
Whatever. And that way we're prepared when they come in, and we kind of know where their taste is going to go, so we can be prepared, or and to help them out and to guide them on what our show is.
Right, which is important. It helps you out.
Yeah.
Now, tell me a little bit more about the society and like what you're involved in, because I've heard a little bit from everyone that I've been talking to lately.
Sure.
Go ahead.
What isn't he involved in? I think is the question.
Well, I'm not involved in the election board. That's you.
Yeah.
I am. I actually have a title with the SOC, along with being a board of governor member, which David also is. I am the technical chairperson of the SOC. I oversee the technical awards, which are given out in our awards banquet in February. I help manufacturers submit for awards. I help identify the manufacturers that should be submitting. And then in the latter half of the year, late around October, November, we're trying to do it sooner. I put together the demo day or demo days in which the manufacturers will come bring their product, demo it to a jury panel, which Dave was on, of operators that, we work on shows. We know what we're doing. We have a couple feature guys. We have a couple TV guys. And we'll take a look at a product and we'll try to determine which one should get recognition. This year we had 13 manufacturers, 14 or 15 products demoed over the period of one day.
Wow.
And then we all had a rather long and spirited and fun discussion.
Yeah,
it was a great discussion.
It was a long discussion, but I also had a sense of like, we really are at a conundrum here because we have a few things that are really fantastic. And there was the day-to-day use object that we were talking about that made a big difference in our lives as operators, like things that we do to fix shots during in the moment when we're shooting. And then there was the big grand technical design stuff that you're just in awe of.
Yeah, it's like a $500,000 product, and it's like, wow.
So I think what happens is you get into that room, and all of us have our own opinions about it, and so it took a while.
Yeah, and it was a fun discussion because we each had opinions from experience, and sometimes we're all going, I didn't think about it that way. That's kind of interesting, or I've never used it like that. And it was not only in the discussion where we, able to just come to a consensus, but we each kind of learned a different way of working with gear, and we each approached it, and we also approached it from our specialties. It's, we had two guys who do features, one guy who is doing the next two Avenger films back to back right now. And he had just come off of King Kong, literally was on a layover in LA, coming in and doing it. And we have, there was three of us who we do a ton of television and, really good series but we do it in three different ways. And it was really great. And it was a really fun five-member panel, figuring out all this product. I mean, we saw stuff that it ran the gamut. Our two winners were at the absolute opposite ends of the spectrum. We had the daily use was the Silent Cat slider from That Cat, and it's a piece that we all use. And then the specialty gear was the shot over K1, which is this monster helicopter mount that any big aerials you see in a movie, like in the remake of Jurassic Park coming up to Island Newbar, that was going through the waterfall in the aerial. That was the shot over K1.
Yeah.
And it's this, and that's stuff that not everybody in the society is going to have access to.
Right.
And it was really cool. And each manufacturer had 20 minutes to give us the bullet on the product and sell us on it. And I think our deliberation was almost 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah, we took it seriously.
And it was at the end of a long day, and we're like, no, we're not leaving the room until we all figure this out.
Let's get it done.
And it was a serious amount of discussion.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun though. It was like really great to hear everybody's opinion. And it was fun.
Well, speaking about learning from each other and learning from experiences, what is one thing that you wish you knew early on starting out in your career?
That maybe I should have been an accountant. Not really. I'm horrible with numbers.
No, but there had to have been something that, now that you've experienced and you had a long-standing career in this industry, what's one thing that you wish you knew early on to help you out?
I'd say for me it would be, you have to really like it. You have to know that you have to really know that this is something you want to do, because there's so many ups and downs, and there's, especially with camera operating, it's not a mechanical thing. It's something that happens. You're working with the performers, and you're trying to achieve the goal of the director and the cinematographer, and you have to really know how to just be passionate and love what you do, so that people see that, because it sets the tone, because you're kind of at the head of the technical stuff. You're running the set in a lot of ways, and people look at you. The actors look at you. The director looks at you to make sure we got it. The cinematographer is constantly asking you, like, what do you think? Where are we going? And you have to have that attitude of, like, you have to be confident, but you have to have passion about it. You have to be, I want to be here. I want to do this, even in 14 hours.
So does that mean that you had doubts when you were first starting out, that you didn't know if you were doing the right thing?
I did not. I felt like I was doing the right thing.
Oh, okay. Good.
I just mean that I worked my way up, and I started out as a camera assistant. I was working as a second assistant and moved my way up, and I would say that I wasn't really passionate about being a camera assistant the way I am about being a camera operator. And once I found that this is something that I loved and I loved to be part of, and the interaction that I was having, it was a done deal for me. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, honestly, operating and I think Dave's going to agree, it's the best job on the set. It's also an incredibly difficult job on the set. I mean, without sounding cocky, I mean, without a camera operator, it's a really expensive radio play. Because we're what the viewers, our product is exactly what the viewers are seeing.
Right.
The DP lights it, but we're framing it, and we're trying to tell a story, and in doing so, it's 14 hours a day, and you end up having these fantastic relationships with the actors, because we're their closest ally on set, and we're the person they actually deal with the most. Like Mitch will say, at the end of a take, they'll look at us, and they just want some indication.
We're the audience.
Yeah, we're the audience. Some indication.
That's it.
You're the first one.
Yeah.
I joke about it because I laugh a lot when we're shooting, especially in the comedy stuff that I've shot. And the actors will look at me like, he's not laughing. Dave's not laughing. Okay, we got a problem here. This isn't funny. And then they change it, or they make it, and not that I'm the only litmus test, but they know, they're like, oh yeah, I could tell what you didn't like it. It wasn't funny, right? We got to do it again, right?
I feel like for people that may not know the industry really well, or don't know how a production's put together, they have no idea that what your role involves and what it takes. And, just like you said, you are the audience.
We're kind of a little, like, production secret, if you will. We're behind.
Be Terrific's getting the secret out there.
Yeah. I know.
Cat's out of the bag now.
Yeah, I'll probably lose my job to a bunch of newcomers now.
Don't blame me.
I saw you say this on TV once. I never saw it.
I welcome all newcomers, by the way. Anybody who wants to do this job should get an opportunity to try and do it.
Yeah. But everybody wanting to do this job also needs to understand it is difficult. And
it's difficult in many different ways.
And emotional and
it doesn't
physical.
Yeah, because if you're a Steadicam, that's not easy.
Yeah,
and it's heavy.
There's a lot of stuff that has to be done. There's a lot of wear and tear on the body. You try to stay in shape as much as you can. You keep your knees, flexible, and take your vitamins and all that. But it's mentally and physically challenging all the time. And I think that's part of what makes it really fun and interesting for us, is that we go to work and we know what the script says and all that stuff. But until we're really kind of setting up that shot, and knowing what the challenges are going to be. Every day is a little different. It's never showing up at the office and filling the same form out and doing that kind of thing. I'm going to go onto this location, and now, like it's got a waterfall, and I'm working here today, and then tomorrow I'm going to be working on a stage where we've built this massive castle set.
Right.
And then, the next day I'll be shooting in an apartment where I jam my elbows up against the walls because it's so small. So yeah, it's the variety keeps it challenging and keeps us interested, I think.
Yeah.
And there's times I've had to say things on set, and you go, there is no other industry on the planet that would be socially acceptable. But B,
Oh, yeah.
you would think to ever say that.
Yeah.
But it's and a lot of people go, well, you pan and tilt the camera. It can't be that difficult. No, it is. And
It can
the amount of mental power that we're having to expend every day, because as the operator, okay, we're working with the dolly grip, the first AC, to make the move, to do the focus pull. We're trying to interpret what the DP is saying. We're trying to interpret what the director is saying. Sometimes mom and dad are fighting, and we're trying to work that out.
You do work as a middleman, and you want to keep a harmony on the set. It's like, and the people that back us up, our assistant, our focus puller, our second assistant, our dolly grips, they're is just as important to the set as everyone else. And they're more important to us because sometimes we're doing things on the fly, and it's like you got to get a guy that wants to go there with you. The dolly grip's got to know he's got to move in a little further, and the focus puller's got to know that he's going to have to make the change on the focus.
I've always said it's a triangle on the dolly. There's a focus puller, a dolly grip, and camera operator, and neither one of them, none of the three of us are more important than the other, but none of the three of us can slack off either. We all have to be on our game, because if any one of us fails, the team fails, the shot fails. We don't tell the story as well. And when you get a great dolly grip and a great focus puller, it's amazing what you can do, and it's amazing what emotion you can portray on film, and just how you can tell the story.
Yeah.
And my favorite dolly grip. I mean, the first day I ever worked with him, I was on a crane, and I was like, looking at the rehearsal, going, "This is a difficult shot." There's a lot of arming in and out, moving the base, swinging the arm. I've got to, hit a bunch of things on the head. We're finishing the shot by sticking the nose of the crane through a window. I'm like, there's 1,000 different ways we're going to fail. And I looked at Daryl and I was like, we got this? He's like, don't worry about it. I'm like, all right. So they're all on board. And we do the first take, and I'm just like, oh, I like this guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to have such a great time working with him.
I did a shot, 2 weeks ago, and director comes over to me, and the DP are like, you nailed it. That was awesome. And I looked over at Tony, my dolly grip, and it was all him. I just sat there watching the eyepiece, because he hit the move just right as we were pushing in and booming up. And the story got told, and I didn't even have to do a single thing. And
when directors do that,
it's amazing when it works.
When directors do that to me, I go, he did it, not me. I was along for the ride.
You share the love, definitely.
But I love what you just said, that that it's a team effort, and it's an equalateral triangle.
Oh, it totally
That's
is.
your new philosophy. Add that to the website.
New philosophy.
Okay, I have to remember that.
Someone write that down. But when it comes to looking back on both of your careers, what's one...
Oh, God, looking back, does that mean they're over?
No.
Okay.
I got a few more years before I retire.
We're looking back over and taking it in and enjoying the memories.
All right.
So if there's one memory that sticks out as best, worst, whatever you want to tell me, what's the one memory when you think about your career and what you've accomplished that always
Does that have to be a camera operator moment?
This is a family show.
Yeah. No, I've had a lot. I've had so many.
Yeah, it's hard to say one best.
Yeah. It's hard for me to come up with. I mean, I have a special moment for me was I got to, before Rodney Dangerfield passed away, I got to spend some time with him doing a documentary, and it was just me and him, and we spent a lot of time together, and I really got to know him over the course of about 3 or 4 days, and it was fun to get to hang out with somebody like that, who's really the godfather of comedy at that point.
Amazing.
So like there's moments like that in my life that I hold really precious, that are special to me, that might not really be that interesting to everybody else.
No, but that's important.
Yeah,
that's nice.
A big one. I mean, there's a lot of those. That's the first one that came to mind.
For me, it's going to be 7 years of Dexter. It was never going to work.
Yeah.
It was the family environment. It was probably doing kill rooms with Michael is one of the best memories ever, because literally in season 5 he threw the director out and said, "No, Eric and I have this," and and there was a weird. I got the character. I got the way Michael was playing it. He trusted whatever I would do. He gave me a huge compliment one time in a magazine interview, where he said, they asked about shooting the kill rooms. What's it like? It's just you and another actor. And he said, no, it's me, an actor on the table, and there's Eric. And Eric's my dance partner. And sometimes, he was saying sometimes he was Fred and I was Ginger, and sometimes that he was Ginger and I was Fred. And there was a level of satisfaction on that show that was pretty amazing. And doing a show for a long period of time is always satisfying, because they become a family, and you see people fall in love, you see people get divorced, you see children born, relatives die, whatever, and the whole company is there participating in it.
Right.
And it's so much fun.
Yeah. Your guys are making me think that I need to switch being behind the scenes.
This guy here was on a lot of it. So.
Yeah.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's the troublemaker of the week.
No,
DJ's my main man.
Is he?
Yeah.
Really?
We've been
okay.
roaming around the halls together.
Gotcha.
Well, he was David Zayas' stand-in. He was Batista's stand-in.
Yes. Yep.
And did several of the stunts.
We compared stand-in notes.
You better
I was
be
going to
good.
forget, just because he was talking about his camera operating moment. The first time I worked on Mad Men, season 1, no idea if the show's going to be good, but I remember going out to the bullpen where all the secretaries are on that set, and they're all smoking, or we're getting ready to light up. And I look around and I said, this show is awesome. Everyone's drinking, everyone's smoking, and the sets are amazing. And I said, if I stay here for a while, if I work here for a while, I'll be very happy. And it was a long run for me. I think I stayed on the show till season 5. And it was a real blessing to be able to be part of something like that, because it just shot like a rocket at one point. After we started airing, I think season 2, it was huge. It was blown up. Yeah.
Such an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it's crazy
really fun
when
to be part of it.
When I usually wear a Dexter hat, and people will stop and go, "I love that show. Thanks, we had fun making it." And I try to walk away, and all of a sudden they're like, "You what?"
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, I got to tell you about this.
Yeah.
Last night I didn't show a clip at the panel last night about this show, but I got cornered by somebody, and they're like, "You worked on Key and Peele," and I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "I love that show. Which sketches did you do?" And I'm like, "Okay." All right, which ones did you like?
Give me the specifics first before I answer that question.
I'll tell you which ones I liked.
Let me check what your taste was.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I think it's great how much fun you guys have, and the memories that you've created working on set. It's really a nice thing, and you don't get to hear about it as often. You get the celebrities off the shows, and get you guys that are really behind the scenes putting on the work.
I don't want to dig at celebrities, because they're probably the main reason why I have my job.
It's part of the family.
And there's a lot of.
I was just thinking, if she actually saw us on set, we're probably bitter and just on the bucket.
I would say there's definitely bitter Dave that comes out sometimes,
Of
and
course.
it's only because you get into those situations, and you lift yourself up, but usually somebody else will help you, and we all go through that, especially the long hours that go along with it and all that. You do have a tendency to be a little, you could be a little edgy, and somebody's always there to help you out.
A guarantee for a bitter crew is going, we were supposed to be working nights all week outside. Yeah, we're going to start at 5 p.m. on stage. Yeah, that's a bitter crew.
That's not so much fun.
Roll with the punches.
It's not fun.
But you get the shots that you need to get, and you get out of there. And I try to do it with as much positive attitude as I possibly can muster. Sometimes it's hard, and I got hurt a couple of weeks ago, I just fell to my knees. I was doing a shot, and it's kind of a stunt shot, and I went to my knees the wrong way, and I hurt my knee. And the rest of the day, I was like, I'm going to need an Apple box to sit on. I can't get there. I just couldn't. It hurt sore, and it was hard to really keep a positive attitude at all. I'm thinking, it's like, I just want to put ice on my leg and go home.
Right.
But it does happen.
But you're part of the triangle. You got to keep going.
Yeah, you got to keep going.
No way out.
Well, they're not going to find a replacement for you on a Thursday night at like 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's just, even if you wanted to go.
Not disturbed. I ain't taking that call.
Yeah. No.
So what do you guys think about how technology is evolving, and you're at NAB and seeing all these new products?
We should talk about that. We should talk about the NAB thing, right?
Yeah. That's why we're here.
Well, we're also going to talk about it tomorrow afternoon.
Right. He's the technical guru, I'll tell you that. But I can tell you that this is I think this is my 5th NAB. I try to go every couple of years.
Okay.
Or when I'm, get to talk to beautiful women.
Aww.
But there's a lot of fun things that have happened. I think this year there's a lot of products that I hadn't seen before. They've been kind of fun to look at and be part of, at least. Getting to talk to the manufacturers, the guys who actually built the products. I think that's really fun to get hands-on with some of this stuff. Everybody's willing to let you demo their stuff. Just walking around, trying new things that I haven't seen before, like different hand grips for the camera or different accessories.
Anything really cool that you saw that's sticking out to you?
Yeah, there's a lot. I would say there's a couple of lenses that I really liked.
The Sky Techno Crane. Have you seen
that? The Sky Techno Crane was really great. It's a
Your eyes just lit up when you
said
that.
A little bit. It was pretty awesome.
It's total geekdom time at that point. It's just like, okay, that's way cool.
Yeah, because they took a Techno Crane and turned it upside down, so you could work it from a base that's above the floor. So it's great for live stuff. I was trying to figure out ways to implement it in what we do, trying to tell stories narratively. Is how would we do that? How could I utilize this piece of equipment? And I think that's the fun part about being here, is that you can kind of go, oh, maybe I could try it this way. Oh, that seems like it'd be a lot easier than the way I've been doing it. Whether it's just a configuration of the camera. I mean, there was some Steadicam stuff that we saw too this year that was really great.
That's awesome. Anything?
The Sky Techno is probably right now my favorite. Because it does solve some problems. I made a suggestion to the guys, and they were like, "Why didn't we think about that?" And all of a sudden they're like, "It could be even cooler now." It's like, yeah.
I think that's been happening with a lot of the guys that are exhibiting their products here.
The interesting thing is a smart exhibitor is going to listen to what everybody says, and they're going to have a thick enough skin not to be offended when we go, what exactly were you thinking?
Yeah, I think the attitude of almost all the vendors has been like, how can I make it better? What do I need to do?
Yeah.
You work with it. You work with this piece of equipment. Tell us how to make it better.
And that's really cool. And it's interesting because the trend is to listen to us more in the last 8-10 years than it was before that. Before that, manufacturers are pretty much set in the ways that they wanted to do something, and we're like, no, you learn to work with us. And now, because there's so many manufacturers, in order for them to have the advantage, they're like, what do you want better? What can we do to change this to make this better? A great example is Cartoni added the third axis to the Lambda head.
That's really great.
That came out of several conversations of what we didn't like about the existing Dutch heads. The fact that it's outside the arc. Yeah. And they put this inside the arc, so now the lens stays more centered and it doesn't move side to side.
Did you see she went glossy there when you started talking technical like that?
No.
Come on.
But and that's an example of a manufacturer that literally, I was speaking to them about this in September, and they have it on the floor, and that's the speed that manufacturers.
Are you getting a
starting
percentage now?
I don't know.
You didn't work that into the deal?
The problem is we end up giving so much away because it makes our life easier.
Yeah, it's like, how can I make my life easier?
Right.
And like I said, I work with all kinds of technical stuff, but the more streamlined I can make it from my job, the easier it is for me. It takes the thinking out, and that one moment, that one little moment where I have to be so present with the actor or whatever we're shooting, whether it's, it can be any subject, but in order to get that captured properly, I need to be focused on that, what's happening in those 4 little lines. And I don't want to be baffled with technical stuff that's going to hinder me from doing that.
Right. Well, I've been enjoying focusing on the two of you for the last while.
Thank you.
It's been very enjoyable talking to you guys and learning so
fun.
much about your careers and what's going on in the industry. It's really nice. So thanks for hanging out with me. It was
Not a
fun.
problem.
I think we mission accomplished.
I laughed a lot. I hope you did.
I did.
Yeah.
We're laughers.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
I think
We'll
we
live
succeeded.
long. It's healthy.
Very nice.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. I'm Allyson Berger, and stay tuned for more on Be Terrific.